channel. So today I'm going to be showing you my vinyl collection, and this is something I'm really passionate about and I spend a lot of time and money in, and so I want to share with you guys all of the vinyls that I've collected over the past few years. So I'm going to show you all of those, and I'm going to point out some of my favorites, and if there's like a story behind how I stumbled upon this album, I'll tell you that as well. So just a quick heads up, I do have a decent amount of vinyls, and so this might take a while since I do talk a lot about all of them. So I'm going to go through all of the LPs first. They're in alphabetical order by artist. There's no other significance other than that. And yeah, let's get started. Oh, there! Lick, lick, lick! So first up we have Language and Perspective by Bad Sons. This was an album that did take me a little while to warm up to, but now I think it's a pretty groovy, funky, feel-good album. So before we really get into this, I'm a huge fan of the Beatles, and I have been my entire life, and they are one of my all-time favorite bands. So a lot of my albums are Beatles albums, and so we're going to start with arguably one of their best. This is the Beatles' White Album, or the Beatles' self-titled album. This is a rare find for me. We found this at the last bookstore in downtown, and it has the original serial number printed on the front. It is one of the first 400,000 that was printed. It's in decent condition. It has 3 of the 5 posters that come with it. This is the inside. The sleeve is hanging on, but it does have the full fold-out poster, and it has 2 of the 4 portraits that do come inside. This does mean a lot to me, so one of my most prized possessions, really. So this was my most recent vinyl purchase, and definitely my most expensive one to date, but it was worth it to me just since it was such an unusual find. So next up we have the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. I saw Paul McCartney at the Hollywood Bowl for my 14th birthday, and so my mom got this for me for my 20th birthday, and I think it's a really cool album. I didn't even know this existed. It's just a bunch of live recordings from when the Beatles performed at the Hollywood Bowl. This was recorded on 2 different show dates, one in 1964 and one in 1965. I was obviously not at those shows. Yeah, it's a really unique album and a cool listen. Next we have the Beatles' Help, and I feel like this is a classic vinyl that everyone who collects vinyl should own. I don't think this is an original pressing, but it is older. I bought this a few years ago, I think when I was like probably 14 or 15 at the record store near where I grew up. So yeah, the Beatles' Help. Next we have the Beatles' Let It Be Naked. This is an album that not a lot of people know about. It is an unmastered version of the Beatles' Let It Be, and it's an interesting listen because it's stripped down, unmastered, just the raw recording of all of the songs, so it's interesting to listen to. Next up we have the Beatles' Revolver. This one does fall into the same category of Help. I feel like everyone who collects vinyl should have at least one copy of Revolver. This is also another one that I picked up at the same record store. Shout out to Cherry Records in Auburn, California. Yeah, I really love the album artwork. I think it's really interesting and neat, especially coming from someone who's now a graphic designer. Aesthetic. So now we have Emma, Forever Ago by Bon Iver. This is one of my all-time favorite albums. I think it's a beautiful album. It's really nice to throw on in the background. Great ambient music just for a rainy day, a sunny day, really any time. But it's really a beautiful, beautiful listen. Next up we have Dopamine by Borns. I've listened to Borns for a few years now, and I really like his style of music, so I obviously had to pick up Dopamine. Mac! Another one by Mac DeMarco. This is a really good album. If you haven't listened to Mac DeMarco, you should definitely give him a try. Really good feeling music. It's good for like drives to the beach, drives to the desert, drives anywhere, really. It's a good listening album. Give Mac a try. So next we have Rock and Roll Nightclub by Mac DeMarco. This is one I got from work. We did a collab with Licorice Pizza in the UK. They're an online vinyl distribution company. It's an album I haven't really given too much of a listen to, but I definitely will. Now we have Never Trust a Happy Song by Grouplove. This was one of the first vinyls I bought, like in my recent falling in love with a vinyl. Yeah, it has some pretty good songs, like a few of my favorite songs on here. would be like Itching on a Photograph and Tongue Tied, and Lovely Cup. So yeah, give this one a listen. Now we have How Do You Feel Now by Joywave. This is one of my favorite album designs because of just like the pure aesthetic and art direction of it all. You have this cool Picasso cover, you have really bold typography and colors on the inside and on the back. And the album itself is really funky, really electronic. Yeah. How do you feel now? Oh my gosh! Cat! Hi there, you want to see here? You can do it there. So this next section is going to be more of Paul McCartney specifically. He is my favorite Beatle. So I do have a lot of his albums, and we're going to start with this really odd one that I found at the last bookstore too. It is a just Paul McCartney only album called Back in the USSR. This vinyl was pressed in the USSR, not in Russia. So back when it was the Soviet Union. And the entire thing is in Russian, but the actual songs itself are in English. It's an unusual find, but you know, I'm not gonna let this pass. Alright, next we have Back to the Egg by Paul McCartney and Wings. I believe this was a gift from my mother a few years ago. This is also one of my favorite albums. This is Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. This is one of his most famous albums and one of the most famous album covers of his. It's a really good album, definitely worth a listen. Now we have Flowers in the Dirt by Paul McCartney. This is a late 80s solo album of his. Now we have London Town by Paul McCartney and Wings. Next we have McCartney or McCartney 1 of the 2 McCartney series. This was released immediately after the Beatles legally broke up. This is his first solo album, and I think it's really unique. Now we have McCartney 2, released shortly after McCartney 1. Another solo album, yeah. Now we have Ram by Paul McCartney. I think this is when he found kind of like his signature style of when he went into Wings. So next we have Red Rose Speedway by Paul McCartney and Wings. This one's cool because when you open the album, it has some cool artwork on the inside, and it also has like a little fold-out book. So now we have Tug of War by Paul McCartney. This album was released the year after John Lennon's death, and he has a few songs on here dedicated specifically to him. Now we have Venus and Mars by Paul McCartney and Wings. I love this album for a ton of different reasons, really. The art direction is really beautiful. It has a really neat poster that comes out. It's not in the best condition, so I'm not going to show you guys, but the songs are good, the album design is good. Beautiful. Next I have 2 of Wings at the Speed of Sound, which is just really Wings at this point. I have 2 copies because why not? Yeah, good album all around. So good that I have 2. Now we are done with all of Paul McCartney, and we're gonna go right into M83. This is Dead Cities, Red Seas, and Lost Ghosts. This is a really beautiful ambient album. It is a double vinyl, so it does have 2 on the inside. And yeah, a really, really nice album to have playing in the background. Alright, next we have MGMT's self-titled album. This is one we picked up from Urban Outfitters kind of recently. Yeah. Next we have We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank by Modest Mouse. This was a gift from an old coworker of mine, and this one's really neat because it has a low serial number. It's 1328. It's one of the first 2,000 that was printed. Now we have Alphabetical by Phoenix. I really like this album. I think it has a few really good songs on here. Next we have Bankrupt by Phoenix, another really good album with a few of their hit singles on it. And I know a lot of people have this album, but both myself and Matt, we are long-reigning 21 Pilot fans. Not to be snobby, but before Blurry Face came out, we were fans of 21 Pilots, and so just by obligation we had to get Blurry Face. And I really like the design of this album. I think it's really innovative and really well laid out artistically. So yeah, 21 Pilots, Blurry Face. Now this is my favorite of any of the 21 Pilots albums. This is Vessel, and I had to get this album since it is my favorite one. I do have a lot of really good memories associated with this album, so it has a lot of meaning to me. I feel like anyone my age has heard Two Door Cinema Club a lot, and this is really reminiscent of my high school era. So this is Tourist History by Two Door Cinema Club, and it has a lot of like really iconic, when you think of like Two Door Cinema Club, all of like the songs that you think of are off of Tourist History. Next we have Modern Vampires of the City by Vampire Weekend. This is one of the first newer vinyls that I bought a few years ago. It has a really cool poster on the inside that I had on my walls for quite a few years. And yeah. Now we have Waking on a Pretty Days by Kurt Vile. This is one of Matt's favorite albums. It took me a while to warm up to it, but it's kind of like in a similar groove of a Mac DeMarco vibe. It's just a really nice album to listen to like when you're driving on a really nice day. On a pretty days, if you will. Now we have Paracosm by Washed Out, and if you don't know this band, they did the title track of the show Portlandia. And they have really good ambient music, but it's like really feel-good, upbeat ambient music, so I had to get it on vinyl. It's a beautiful cover, really a beautiful album all around. Now we have the self-titled album by the XX. This is yet another really good ambient album to throw on in the background. If you don't know who the XX are, definitely look them up. All the LPs are done, yay! So now that we're done with all of the LPs, we're gonna do the singles. So the first single I have is by Years and Years. It has the song King on A side, and on B side it's a King remix. Next we have a little single from the Beatles, Let It Be Naked. This is a fly on the wall recording of them just kind of talking in the studio, so it's really interesting to listen to like hear them talk through a song and talk through a track. So yeah. Now we have Greek Tragedy by the Wombats. This is just a single, and they have the track on one side, and on the other it's a Greek Tragedy remix. This next one is Medicine by the 1975, and I think this is a really neat single because it is pressed on this really cool yellow marble. It's just a fun fact for those of you who do have this and didn't know. It does have a really interesting phrase etched on it. On one side it says, if God made anything better, and on the other side it says, he would have kept it for himself. So make of that what you will, but just a little fun fact. Next up we have Milk by the 1975. This is a hidden track off of the song You. This is another neat vinyl because it is pressed on white. So now that we're done with the singles, we're going to move into box sets. And the first box set I'm going to start with is the Wombats Glitterbug. There isn't too much included in this box set, but it does have a signed set list, which is pretty neat. It also has some 12 by 12 prints of the boys from some of their shows over the years. And of course it comes with the vinyl. This is a pretty color. What a beautiful color. Look at that. So I think all we have left is stuff from the 1975 because they own My Soul. So we're gonna do the EPs first, and then we're gonna move into the actual album and box set. So these are their first 4 EPs that they released before their debut album. We have Face Down, Sex, Music for Cars, and 4. And these are neat because they are also pressed on white vinyl. So we do have 2 copies of these EPs. This set is unopened, and then the other set is on my wall framed. You guys have probably seen those before. So next up I have their debut album right here. It is signed by all 4 of them. We got this at their show at the Hollywood Palladium in 2014, and we didn't get to meet them, but we did get to buy this there, which was pretty neat. Side note, if anyone has done a deep dive on my Instagram, you'll see that I have met Matt Healy. I ran into him at the Doc Martens store in Santa Monica, and I also got to meet Ross McDonald at the private rooftop show here in downtown. So this next thing is like also one of my prized possessions. So this is the box set from the 1975's album, I Like It When You Sleep for You're So Beautifully, It's Unaware of It. And I do have this magazine. This is Q Magazine. They're on the cover, and there's also a full article on them on the inside. This does not come with the box set, but I just keep it in there. So this is what the actual box set looks like outside of the plastic hard shell. This album was nominated for a Grammy for art direction and album design. It didn't win, so I'm mad. Samuel Burgess Johnson, you're the man. I love you. I look up to you. Keep doing you, dude. So the first thing in the box set is the actual vinyl. It is a double vinyl with some beautiful photos inside. Next we have a letter, and if you want to know the contents of this letter, I recommend buying the box set, and then you will find out what is in this letter from the band. Next we have a book of some beautiful photos that their photographers have taken of them over the years. Oh my god. So the box set comes with 2 singles. It features Love Me and The Sound, and the B-sides of these contain a Change of Heart demo and How to Draw. And How to Draw is a bonus song that's only available through the Target version of the CD. We don't actually have the Target version since we don't really have any way to play the CD, so we do just have How to Draw on vinyl, which I think is pretty cool. You can only listen to it that way, so it makes it really special because it's a beautiful song. And this is another single that does not come with the box set, but it is something that we do have. This is just the single A Change of Heart on just a single vinyl. It doesn't have a B-side, but we did purchase this separately. It does not come with the box set. And the last thing in the box is the regular CD of the album. This does not have How to Draw on it, but this is just the standard album that came in the box set. So we do actually have 3 CDs in total. 2 of them are signed. We got them at Miba Music in Hollywood right before the album was released. They had like an album release party, and so we were able to get the signed CDs as well as this little cassette here that has Love Me and Ugh. And I also got an 11x17 poster, if you guys have seen it on my wall. So that concludes my vinyl collection and box sets. That is just what I have right now, and I am really looking forward to growing this collection to something a lot bigger. I just want to mention what I play all of these on. I have an Audio-Technica LP60 in the light pink. It is just kind of a middle-of-the-road turntable. I do one day hope to upgrade to something a little bit nicer, something with a little bit more robust sound and nicer speakers, but for now this is working for me really well and I'm really happy with it. And I had to have the pink because, you know, the light pink is cute. Alright, thank you so much guys for watching. I really appreciate everyone's support, and thank you for hanging in so long with this really long video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and also leave me a comment down below. Tell me what your favorite albums were, and tell me what you have. If you have a record collection going, let me know what albums you have. Or if there's one that you think I should get, let me know. I'm always looking for new music and new albums to add to my collection. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you would like, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you next week. Bye guys!